Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another Blake Booyah YouTube video. Thank you for tuning in. This video today is sponsored by none other than myself. So in order to support me, please go down, hit that subscribe button if you're into the channel, and maybe give this video a thumbs up, because we're getting into 10 things that I love about my LB7 DURAMAX.
10 things I love about my LB7 DURAMAX.
These are 10 things that are going to be about the LB7 platform itself. Also some things that are more specific to my truck, not necessarily crew cab, not necessarily long bed or anything like that. This is strictly my truck and the LB7 platform. We're going to start out with number 10 on the list, and that's going to be cost, which you're thinking it's a diesel truck. It costs more to do just about anything on it. Initial cost up front before the market kind of just soared away and prices of trucks just skyrocketed. This was cheap. So if you don't know the backstory, if you haven't looked at my previous videos on the truck when I first got it, picked this bad girl up for $3,000. It did not look like this, although it was very close. $3,000, and I have myself a DURAMAX, which I thought was pretty cool when I bought it. Obviously it had higher miles. It had 310,000 miles when I bought it, which was high. It's high, like
It's high for a truck.
And now she's sitting at 347,000 miles are on this truck.
Wow.
So I've put on a whopping 37,000 miles in the past year and a half since I've had it. So although I did buy it for $3,000, which is a great price, it did have a coolant leak. $2,900 more dollars had to be sunk into this truck. So now I was sitting closer to $6,000 for an LB7 DURAMAX, which was also not too bad. We're still not too bad on the price. I decided to almost immediately get rid of the wheels. It did cost about 800 bucks for the 4 of them. And then obviously swapping the tires. So I was I would say closer to 6,800 at that point. And then I also got a remote start along with the 2 front windows being tinted. I think the total cost of that was about 400 bucks. So now you're looking at about $7,200. The next coolant leak happened. These have a very common issue with the water pump gasket kind of going and in the front of the motor. So she was leaking again. I had to call my buddy up again, get her in the shop. And that ended up costing just over $800. So now I'm sitting close, if not over, to $8,000 at this point. So $8,000, the truck has over 300,000 miles. It's a 2002, it's old. But I gotta tell you, overall cost for truck, bang for your buck, this is hands down probably the best truck that I've had. I've only had 3 diesels, this being one of them, and this is just hands down the best. Number 9 is going to be functionality. Functionality of the truck. As you can see, I put the sled deck on the back. It's a truck, it has the bed. This isn't the crew cab, but quite honestly, the 4 doors open, it's not that much of a pain in the ass. Wide open. You know what? You got a lot of room. You actually don't lose as much room as you think in the back compared to the crew cab. I don't have the specific numbers, but I can't imagine it would be a lot. It's not like my I had a 2005 Power Stroke where it had the same thing, extended cab, and the extended cab was much smaller than this. So this is actually a very generous extended cab. Functionality, getting in and out, it's lower to the ground. It works for me. I'm a short guy. I don't want a severely lifted truck for daily use because it just winds up being a pain to get in and out of. So functionality and practicality, I guess, can go as 1 into number 9. Number 8, which is going to be the availability of aftermarket support on accessories. Accessories meaning headlights, taillights, antenna, mirrors, you name it. Anything you can kind of switch out on this truck. It is not only readily available with a bunch of variety to make it your own and customized, but cost is fairly cheap compared to newer trucks. If you wanted to swap out headlights on a newer DURAMAX, I can only imagine it would cost about $400 or $500 for a good set. These were just over 200, which was probably one of the most expensive that I could find on the internet. And I like the LED headlights. Were not the cheapest, a little more expensive, and I can go in a full detailed video about those because I do have some personal strong opinions about those headlights. Number 7, the fact that this thing is still a truck. It's a truck. It is an old school truck and it likes to get used. The Duramax platform, the LB7 platform, is a great platform for this truck, but even the gas versions of this truck back in the day, 2002 gas, with the Chevy trucks, they can take a beating. Even the 1500s, they just don't quit. You know, they got truck motors, LS motors, that last hundreds of thousands of miles, and it's hard to beat. Honestly, you see more of the cat eye version. They only made this version with the headlights body style for a couple of years, and then became the cat eye, and that's more of the version that you see on the roads today that are outlasting. You know, what we're getting into, this truck's 19 years old, so we're getting into close to 20 years old for these trucks, and they're all over the road still, compared to older Dodges and Fords of the same era. By far the Chevy and GMC truck platforms kind of take the win on that. Number 6, we're going to come over to the driver's side. She's worn down. She's worn. Working cruise control. Yes, that's right. It still works. It still works every time. And setting this thing when you're on the highway doing long hauls, hundreds of miles in a day, cruise control, I use it all the time. I absolutely love it. It still works perfect. It's only malfunctioned once or twice on me, where if you hit the it would stop it. It only happened temporarily, and then it went right back to working, and it's worked ever since. So I don't know if it was a little wiring thing, a little finicky. You know, it's an old truck. That's what happens with these old trucks. For number 5, we're actually going to take a slight look into the underbelly of this truck, which is going to be the frame. It's going to be the frame. Yeah, honestly, one of the main reasons I decided to purchase this truck is because the frame is relatively clean. There is no rot like I've had with other trucks where the back half of the frame rots out. There is none of that going on with this. I do have plans to replace the fuel sending unit because it does pop up on the screen with low fuel. It's one of the things that I've been looking to do. I want to do a full bed off and a coat, sandblast the entire rear half of the frame, coat it. It's kind of a common thing to do with probably all trucks, but all older trucks, and this is certainly one of them that I want to do. I just kind of went through when I first bought it with an undercoat spray just to give it some protection, but it does need to be broken down, sandblasted completely, and that requires taking the sled deck off, taking the bed off, and then I have access to that fuel sending unit right on top. And a lot of people will just block the bed on one side, but I'm just gonna take it all off. We got a little stroker coming over here, thinking he can throw his turbo noises in my face. Back in the interior with number 4. Number 4 is going to be, I guess, the overall interior vibe, which kind of sounds weird, but when you get into a vehicle, if you're an enthusiast, it's a safe assumption that you have a certain vibe when you get into a vehicle. Everything kind of flows. This is angled towards the driver. You got your shit handle there, your old shit handle up there. Specifically, these, just lots of little nooks for sunglasses if you want. I don't know, your drugs or something, I don't know, money. These are very cool. I don't have a mirror, which honestly I don't need to look at myself anymore than I have to. This comes out as a sun blocker, same thing on this side. Pretty cool feature. Also the mirror, which I thought was aftermarket. I could be wrong, but I'm 90% sure that this came stock with the OnStar, and the compass will show up along with the temp gauge. Mine has malfunctioned. Again, maybe something I'll bring up in the next video. All these little cubbies. You got 3 ports. You got change right there, or cigarettes if you'd still smoke. You're living in the 80s still. Plenty of storage in here. I mean, this is great. This is incredible. I got that. She's very dirty, but she holds a bunch of stuff. You got a little pocket right there. You drop your phone over here. So that's gonna be my number 4, is just the vibe that I get from the interior. Okay, for number 3, we're gonna take a dip into the engine bay. Number 3 is just gonna be how the motor looks. Kind of sounds a little bit silly, but when you pop a hood to a vehicle, especially a truck, I think it's important how everything kind of flows with each other. And this is untouched. This is completely stock. I haven't even done an intake upgrade or anything like that. The batteries are easily accessible. That one is super easy. This one over here is a little bit more difficult, but still fairly easy to reach. I've replaced both of them in a short amount of time. Alternator has been replaced. Probably the easiest thing you could do. Your AC compressor's right here. Your tensioner pulley's right down there. Easy access with a 1/2-inch bar to get rid of that belt. I've replaced the belt. Nothing to do with the LB7 motor itself, just solely based on looks of the LB7 motor. Number 2 is going to go a bit into the motor power plant of the truck. That's going to be the 5-speed Allison mounted with the LB7. It is a great platform that came on early in the 2000s. It was used all the way up to, I think, 04 or 05, I believe, and then it swapped to LOY, I think 04. You know, say what you will about the motor, we'll, you know, get into that with another video, but the LB7, it doesn't have all the restrictions on emissions, which is great. It's pre-emission. Don't have to deal with anything like that. You throw an exhaust on, it opens it right up. I should probably do an intake. It would even open it up a little bit more. But the miles per gallon, sitting high teens, just around highway, city. I do both. Towing, I just towed a camper all the way up to Bar Harbor and back. Got 12 miles a gallon with a close to 4,000 pound little camper. It's not a powerhouse. It does have 120 horsepower PPE tune, which it's had since I bought it. I switched it to stock one time, and these things are slow stock. Don't get me wrong, very, very slow. But you wake it up with a tune, the exhaust, you do an intake, and it is a decent truck. She won't rip the tires off going 40, but she'll move out of her own way, no problem, and leave a little bit of smoke behind. Minimal issues since I've owned this truck. Happy with the LB7 platform. My number 1 thing that I love about this truck is more specific to my truck, not the LB7 DURAMAX by any means. This is my truck. What I love about my 2002 DURAMAX, Chevy DURAMAX, is going to be the overall praise and compliments that I get from people, passersby, kids. Kids always looking at this truck, giving it thumbs up. Feels good. It feels like they're going to grow up and maybe have a little bit more respect for these older diesels if they're still on the road, which I hope, because they're great trucks. They really are. I have to remind myself it is a work truck. This thing has made me thousands and thousands of dollars with no payment. It's been a minute since I put out a video. I figure 10 things that I love about this truck would be a good introduction. A lot more content coming for the month of July. Everybody just stay posted. Turn on the notifications so you realize that I post a video up. Maybe you can go and watch it. Hit the like button, go down, subscribe, do what you want. It's all up to you. It's all fun and games. That's going to be it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching, especially till the end. As always, keep it weird. I'll catch you next time.